Good evening and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. And tonight we have Glen Richardson. How are you doing?
Hello there. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, great. Thanks. Getting a bit chilly out here now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Cold weather's coming in.
That's right. And there's sort of warning us of snow as well. But I love snow.
I don't mind the Christmas time. It makes it more Christmassy. I love Christmas. But I think
I
it's a bit,
noticed you got your tree up.
yep, but I think it's a bit early for snow.
Yeah, I've got my Ghostbusters Christmas jumper. I just got it through. I'm just dead chuffed with it. I really am. So you've got a page for UFOs and you've got a page for paranormal.
Yep.
So tonight we're going to be talking about the UFO side because it really does intrigue me so much. And I've got a story to mention to you in a bit, which is from Carl Hodgson. So I'm
Yep.
going to tell you what the story is and then see what your comments are on that as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. So, what actually got you into ufology then?
Well, I've always been interested since I was a little lad in all types of unexplained phenomena. Um, it's always appealed to me. I've always watched things. um, Watching documentaries, watching things on TV, and then I think I was about 16, 17. I think around that time, me my father came in and he seen me watching a program, and he said that he witnessed something, and it was absolutely fascinating because he's very, very skeptical.
Mm.
Always had a rationale for it, and basically he said what he was woke up at the early hours of the sound of. He said it sounded like someone hoovering, just like Mum was hoovering up, but then he realised obviously she was still in bed. Um, Went downstairs, and he says it was only for a couple of seconds. The full sky just lit up red, orangey colour, and it
Wow.
wasn't just like a light; it was like the full sky lit up. Um,
Okay.
and then it just went quiet and the lights just went off. And apparently at the time, because I wasn't born at this time, there was a lot of local press involved after it. There was a lot of people commenting and things and writing into the newspapers and stuff. So that just intrigued me even more. So I started reading books and everything I could get on the subject. And I came across this book, Alien Investigator, by the late Tony Dodd. Fascinating book, absolutely brilliant. I recommend anybody to read it. And it was about obviously his life as an investigator himself, and it just inspired me more. I think because he's going around talking to people, getting information off people. So I thought this is something that I need to do. So I put adverts in local, like in paranormal magazines, UFO magazines, um, and obviously it all started off from there. I was getting calls, and to be honest with you, I'm not a trained investigator, but you learn things how as you go on. And
That's
when I first
right.
started, it wasn't more of keeping records or anything like that. It was just basically just speaking to people and getting their accounts of what they witnessed, and it was just so fascinating. So as time went on, you learn new techniques, new things, and obviously I keep a database now. I keep records of all the cases because, as we all know, when there's more than just one pair of eyes seeing something, it brings it more validated. So, someone might witness something 20 years ago, and then someone could come to me tomorrow and say, I've witnessed this sighting. I could go back to my records and think, oh, hang on, he's seen the same thing as this person's witnessed 20 years ago. So then you've got two
Wow.
people, you know what I mean? So I think
Yeah.
it's always best to keep these records. So yeah, it all stemmed from there. And like I say, things have changed where I'd travel the whole of the country to speak to people face to face. Unfortunately, I don't do this as a job, as we all love to.
Oh, yeah.
But as times change now, and at the end of the day, there's no case more important than any others. But I think a lot of the time now, I've found out where I can generally do a lot of the investigation over the phone rather going down and traveling 6 hours to speak to somebody who will just tell me exactly what they've told me over the phone, if that makes sense, or an email. You know what I mean? So I can generally do that, obviously, over the phone or via email. But when it comes to more delicate cases, like possible abduction cases, then that's when I'll do my utmost to go and speak face to face to that person, because it's a bit more delicate. You know, it's a lot of the time, I think, which is great. You know, people might not believe, but they see my page or whatever, and I've seen this and send it in. But then when it's a bit more complex, a bit more sensitive with abductions, you know, that person needs to get your trust.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know me, and the information that they tell me, it's really, you know, it's sensitive and personal.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's good to, you know, it's just out of example. One abduction case was, you know, it started off where their friend witnessed something in the sky, and it's sort of like spread from there. Where, no disrespect to the person who's claiming to be abducted, that friend didn't exist. They were just getting my trust, if that makes sense. They were just trying to feel more comfortable to actually tell me exactly what was going on.
Yeah,
so
I get you.
saying, oh, this, and that. And I think basically just sort of seeing if, you know, is this guy legit, or is he just a phony? Just, is he, you know what I mean? Because, you know, like I say, it's dead easy getting in touch with someone and saying, or sending an email saying, I've seen this, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
But with abduction, it's totally different.
It is different. I was friends with the person on Facebook. Now I might still be, but with Facebook you don't see everybody, do you?
Yeah.
And he was actually speaking to the US press quite a lot, and he's interviewed a lot because he'd been abducted more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he was getting fed up because the press would speak to him, and then he'd just be ridiculed and everything.
Yeah.
So there he is, you know, he's telling his story as it is, and he's just getting all grief and everything, and it's just not on, is it, for him to like trying to help people?
Mm.
You know, this is what I've seen, this is what has happened, and then just get all that. No, it's not on, really.
No, that's it. It's not, and like I say, it is difficult for people to come through. And I admire anybody who comes through and talks about what happened, and you know, it's a lot, gives them a lot of courage to do this, you know, to speak
It
about.
does, yes,
You know, it's
definitely.
really, yeah.
Because you know, everyone will think it's a medical reason. You know, I'll go to a doctor's or something, wouldn't they?
Oh,
And a lot
absolutely.
would just come out with that answer.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like I've always said before, obviously the subject itself, if you're a non-believer, or, you know, if you go to a doctor and say, I don't know what's going on, I'm having these things, straight away they're going to be thinking, you know, is this some sort of form of mental illness? Is it, you know,
Yeah,
they're not
that's
going to
right.
look at that side of it. Where people like myself, yeah, we do, you know, we do look at other possibilities, but
Yeah,
you know, we're not there to judge people. We don't judge people, you know. We do look at other possibilities, and I have contacts over the UK who do hypnotic regression. So depending on where this
wow.
client is, and if that's something they want to pursue, then obviously we can go down that route. You know, and it's so yeah, it's all, like I say, it's all about helping people. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all started off as a fascination for me, but yeah, you know, I am a believer these things are going on without a shadow of a doubt, and you know, especially with abduction, people are needing, even if it's just someone to talk to. They don't want anything from it. They don't want to take it further because of, like you said, the ridicule and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just nice to chat about it.
that's right.
You know, and
Yeah, but they kind of want an answer. Like I had something happen to me on the paranormal front, and it really screwed my mind up 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what happened? I was talking to Ben Winfield. He actually gave me the words or explained it. But, if you've got something like that, you can't speak to your friends. Not always.
No, that's it.
It depends where you are, what your job is, and everything, doesn't it?
Mm.
And
Yeah, it
it's
is.
just great that you can be there to help these people.
It is, and like you say, it is strange how people react. And I can remember before I sort of, I don't like saying this, but before I started getting a name for myself, when I first started off, I can remember being at work and there was an article from Nick Pope about when he was working for the Ministry of Defence on the UFO disc and everything, and they were saying, "Oh God, how interesting this is, and must be brilliant doing this type of work." And then a couple of weeks later, I was in the paper.
Oh, wow.
And I was just ridiculed. They just took the mick out of me. And I'm thinking, hang on a sec. A couple of weeks ago, you were saying
Oh,
you're
God,
brilliant doing
yeah.
it, but now someone who's doing it. It's like I'm a freak. You know what
Yeah, that's it.
But it's. I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I don't get ridiculed no more. But
Yeah, that's it, because I've not been doing mediumship long. I've been doing development 7 years, and it's like something that I don't say, and I've come out more at work now, but you don't go into a new job and go, "Oh, I talk to the dead," do you?
Yeah.
Because I don't. Close the eyes and think, "Oh yeah, okay, avoid." But yeah, it's just one of those, isn't it? And it's just fascinating. But I think just speaking here, you've got a lot of similarities, obviously, between the paranormal, because there's no answers there. The ufology, it's just trying to work out the evidence, isn't it?
It is. It is.
And a lot of the time, it's just people's experiences and word of mouth.
Well, it is. It's sort of it. Regards to, obviously, there's I get messages nearly every day regards to sightings and things, and it's sort of, as we all know, as the way society is and how people associate with these objects people see, a UFO, as we all know, UFO stands for unidentified flying object.
Yeah,
It
that's
doesn't mean
it.
it's alien, but obviously society, the class it as well. It's from another.
Aliens.
No, it's
Yeah.
not. It's just something that's unidentified.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a plane or something from another world, then it's identified. It's not a UFO. It's sort of. But there's many things that can be misconstrued. One of the perfect. I wish I could get a picture. But you just want to Google it. It's amazing. One of the main things that's sort of mistaken for a UFO. But I suppose at the time it is a UFO, but like something from another world, is a bird. Now it's quite strange. If you catch a bird at the right speed, it just looks like the usual UFO pictures people see.
Wow.
It's absolutely fascinating. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's and when you enhance it and go deeper into the image, then you tend to find out what it is. But
oh my gosh,
that's that's what people like myself do. We investigate these things, and a lot of the time we do come up with rational answers, but then there's that small percentage we don't.
And how often are people disappointed when you get the rational?
If I'm honest with you, I've never come across anybody disappointed. If I'm quite honest with you, they still thank them for finding this out. But I think in a way, it's again as what I was talking about, like abduction cases. It's a case of they know I'm legit because it's not the case of, oh, I've got this. Oh yes, it's something from outer space. You know what I mean? It's I've looked at it properly and I've found an answer, and it's not an answer that they're probably looking for, but they still appreciate that.
You've got an answer, yeah.
And I'm just no phony that sort of says, well, yes, it's definitely something from outer space when it's not.
Yeah, that's cool. Right, I'm just going to do a few shout outs then. So I've got Carl Hodgson. Hi, Leslie Hudson. I hope you're okay, Leslie. Leslie's going to join us tonight, but foreseen circumstances she couldn't. But I hope you're okay.
No
Howard
problem.
Petrie. Hiya. Also from Things Network as well. So look out those shows. Scott Matthewson, thank you so much for watching. Scott is on at 9 o'clock tonight, so just over an hour and a bit. Donna Fuller, Danielle Ripley, Von Hunter, hiya, hope you're all right. Hi Lois, hope you're all right. Hope shift goes well. Wayne Seedon, hi Kevin Jackson. Now Kevin Jackson has posted a really interesting photo. I don't think I can get it on the stream because I might lose connection if I try it. But it's brilliant, and a shame I can't show it to you now, but I'll show it to you afterwards. See what you think.
Sorry, you talking to me there? Are you talking to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've been in touch with Kevin. Yeah, I've
you have?
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you think of that then?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
Obviously, I've told Kevin I'm will be looking into it further. It's at the early stage, but yeah, it's very interesting. Not sure what it is just yet, but yeah, it's
because I ask for standard questions. I think sometimes asking questions it might come across as negative, but I said like, was it behind glass? And also, was the light reflecting on the lens somehow, but I don't know how because it's daylight anyway. Yeah. But other than that, I don't know. It was
like I said, it's not negative. You got to ask these questions. You know what I mean?
I do.
It's part of the investigation. And that's what for me, a good investigator does look at all possibilities, and you've got to get all the facts. You've got to, and so yeah, it's a great picture.
It's interesting. It is an interesting picture. It really is.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to have taken it. I've got like thousands. I do photography, so from the photography aspect, to sort of look at what could possibly cause it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I don't know. We've got Carl Hudson then. If Roswell was real and if aliens have been in contact, why do our governments always cover it up? As in this day, many look at the big picture. Are we really alone?
Good question. Now, obviously, you want to go back to the Roswell. For me, it's a fascinating case. I do believe it 100%. Now, I don't think there's anything there now, because obviously, I don't know if anybody can remember, but for years, before the internet and all that, the American government denied that Area 51 existed. But because of Google Earth and stuff like that, obviously it was found. And yeah, they might have their own, logical explanations of why, the government, military, that keep things secret. But yeah, it wasn't there, but now obviously they have to come out and say yes, Area 51 does exist. Now, regards to obviously Roswell crash, for me, there's enough evidence to suggest that yes, something did happen. Now, regards to the secrets, there's a lot of theories out there. Obviously, there's theories out there that we're in communication with them. Obviously, a lot of the planes that are developed are using from crashed UFO technology. So they're passing technology to us. So what we're giving them, like I say, this is all theories. It's
Yeah, exactly.
That are there the government letting them do experiments on us? There's that part of it. So obviously, it's not just a case of yes, UFOs are real, something's going on. Then people start asking, so what's the reason? Why are they here? What's going on? Why have you kept it a secret? And I get asked the question all the time, from skeptics, why, if things did come here, they'd have to be far more advanced with technology than we are. Why can't they be? That's the question I ask. Why can't there be more advanced technology? Right. Why would they come here? Well, isn't that what you've been doing for years? We've been trying.
Isn't it something that we have that they may want?
exactly. It's what we've been doing. We've been going to the moon, we've been sending things to Mars. Now, I'm not being funny, but if we knew there was life on a planet, we would do our best to get to that planet. You know what I mean? We would.
Yeah.
So that's, and it's like you say, is there something that we've got that they haven't? And as the government, it's a case of, for a long time, they were saying, if this thing was real, it'd be a mass hysteria and people panic and stuff like that, which for me is gone. You know what I mean? A very big percent think these things are real. Now, they might not think they're visiting Earth, but they believe they do exist,
Yeah.
And that's something else I say to people, you know what I mean? Why don't you think there can't be life out there? You know what I mean? You're not looking at the bigger picture. We are out there. We have evolved on a planet, whether through religion or evolution. It's happened. And that's a fact. So what you're telling me, it's never happened again. And there's millions and millions of planets out there.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's all
I can't even get the concept of all these planets and
that's it. You know what I mean? And so it's the government knows about it. No, but they all have the theories.
That's right.
But it's, and like I say, a big part of it's the technology. It's a lot of planes that the US especially have developed. The stealth bomber. You know what I mean? They wonder where they got the technology for that. And it's just that part of the deal.
Yeah, you really have no idea. A quick shout out then to Chantal Raidman, and Von says it's very sad that people are so easy to ridicule someone who's been through such an experience. That's right, isn't it?
It is.
And people are shocking. Absolutely. Oh, nice question here from Von. Have you been abducted yourself?
No, I haven't. And if I'm honest with you, I've never experienced anything that I could seriously say this, is heading to this direction. Yeah, I've seen things that I've spotted in the sky, but there can be logical explanations, but nothing sort of some of the stories you hear of what people have witnessed and have seen. Unfortunately, I've never come across anything.
Yeah, I'm going to read a story to you. I'll just get it up on my phone. So basically, Carl Hodgson's watching, and he's just sent me a story. And basically, I'd like to know your opinion on it.
Yeah.
So it's a story which was told over a 50-year time frame, and to people, this was told in the early 90s, a few weeks before the person passed away. If you spoke to anyone who had heard it, it was always the same story. The guy was known locally to Carl as a Mr. Foster. He was a local barber, and one night he couldn't sleep and he went for a walk around the local area that had a big field, and he saw a large orange ball. His first thought was that it was a balloon. As he got near, a small row of flashing lights going all around appeared, and then it started to hum. He said it was only 6 inches away. He was only 6 inches away from it. And as he went to touch it, the ball shot up into the air and vanished in seconds. When he got home, his watch was an hour slow. His final words on this: I don't care if anyone calls me. I know what I saw, and it was not of this earth. Thanks for that, Carl.
Absolutely, yeah, very interesting. Well, a few things that stick out, if I can put a word to it, is the fact of the detail of it, and it's like what I've always said to people, even when I'm doing an investigation and I tell them what I believe it is. It's like what you pointed out is the fact of he knew what he saw.
Yeah.
So, and if someone's, like you say, 6 inches, was it something like that? That's a close distance. That's not like from a few miles away.
That's right.
It can be
Well, right there, isn't it?
You know, it's sort of, I know I'm going off the ball a bit, but with Rendlesham Forest, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
They were so close to that where they were touching it, but then a
Yeah.
skeptic says, oh, you know what, they believe it was lights from can't think of the word now. Anyway, it was some light. I'm thinking, hang on,
Yeah.
you're touching it in your sense of light. So it's like what he's saying. It's, you know, he's really close to it. Obviously, the same story over the 50-year period was very important. So obviously, remember a lot of it. And another factor for me is I've come across this many times of the orangey red ball. I've come across that many times.
Wow.
A lot of people have come forward with the same type of object.
That's brilliant.
Many, I've had loads of cases.
Yeah.
And it possibilities for that for me is I've had a great interest in that because it's a UFO and it's part of the UFO family, if you want to. But I look at it as is it some sort of has it come from a UFO? So it's come down, check things out,
Right. Okay.
and then go up. You know, is it
like a drone?
Yeah,
back in
like a drone.
You know, before we even had that technology.
Well, that's it. And because for me, I think you know, a lot of the reports I get, for me, an actual craft itself, it's too small because the art's really small. So one possibility is it's sort of a drone type thing where they've sent down.
Yeah.
You know, because there's been many reports of seeing them over crop circles before crop circles were formed. So yeah, it's and that's what I say to people. You know, it's like going back to the pictures you were talking about. You know, I mean, there could be many explanations. You know, lens flare and things like that, and you know, and obviously the sun, it's in daylight.
Yeah, but for lens flare to get 4.
Well, yeah, you know,
odd, isn't it?
Other possibilities. What could be? I'm not saying is.
Yeah, that's right.
But regards to this, it's not something he'd seen from a distance.
You know, that's right.
It's
you can nearly physically
really
touch it.
It's that close where he's trying to touch it.
Yeah.
You know, so he's got to have witnessed something. What it is, I don't know. But I am very intrigued in that type of phenomena because I've come across it many, many times.
And that actually gives more validation to the story.
It does.
The fact that you've heard this story, you know, similar occurrences from different people.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
fantastic. That's great. So Lois is actually working tonight. So she's usually co-host but can't make it. She found herself drawn to ufology and that. What's your thoughts on Skinwalker Ranch?
Well, it's a very spooky place. You know, it has everything. It has cryptozoology, UFOs, ghosts. You know, it has everything.
Yeah.
Let's put this way: I would like to go at some point. I tell you, now, you know, you look at all the places of where investigators like to go, and obviously, Area 51 is probably top of people's list. It's not mine because, like I say, I don't think anything. Now. You know what I mean? If anything, if the government are housing certain things, it'll be somewhere else now. It wouldn't be Area 51.
Definitely, yeah.
But Skinwalker Ranch,
if people get in, then they just want them to find nothing. And that's that.
But Skinwalker Ranch, it's it appeals to me quite a lot. That it's like you know, I have friends myself from the US, and they've investigated it, and they've always captured something. You know what I mean? It's definitely something going on there. You know, it's like Christmas Day all at once.
Yeah. Wayne says over the last few years there have been more people coming forward and being accepted after seeing something. And it is walking hand in hand so much with the paranormal, isn't it?
It is,
people are getting to talk about things now.
It is. It's excuse me. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a big lover of social media and things like that, but it helps a great deal. Because obviously when I first started this, it was a case of people had to ring me. So it's sort of like people are nervous because they're actually talking to somebody. Where now it's, you can drop a message on Facebook or send an email. You know what I mean? You don't have to talk to these people face to face. But on that side of it, I do think as the times have gone on, more people have accepted the fact. And it's like what I mentioned earlier. I think if I know apparently the government's supposed to come out and says that there is, but I've not come across it yet.
No.
But if they did come out and say yes, this thing is real, there, years ago thought it was going to be mass hysteria and people panic, but it wouldn't be now. It would be a case of, I think, if it came on telly and someone says, "Oh, the government have just acknowledged the fact that Area 51 did house UFOs and aliens," they'll probably go, "Tell me something I didn't know." You know what I mean? I think that'd be the response.
That's right. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a shock. You know what I mean? It'd be a case of,
well,
yeah, we knew this, and which is good. But it's like going back to before, depending on the case and depending on the severity of what's going on, there's still a bit of the mockery that goes out. But I have a lot of admiration for people who do come forward. You know what I mean? Because it does take a lot.
Oh, it does. Yeah, definitely. Even things are more open. Now I've got Luke Allerton watching. Now Luke is part of a group, I hope you don't mind me saying this, who sort of go to forest and meet up and try and open communication, which I definitely want to join them sometime. And they have had some interesting reactions.
Right.
So things have happened. So it's nice that people can meet up.
Absolutely.
And try and do an investigation and try and communicate.
Absolutely. And obviously, I don't want to get into this too much because I tend to keep be quiet on this side of it. But there's a lot of bickery going on with the paranormal and ufology. If I'm honest with you, especially more with the paranormal side of it. Ufology is not too bad.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like bickering as if it's like a competition who gets the, you know what I mean? We're all in it for the same thing. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. I've because like I say, you don't do this full time. I wish I did, but I had an abduction case. It was down Cornwall way. You know what I mean? I'm up in the northeast.
Yeah. Oh,
you know
yeah.
And I like to get really there as soon as possible. So I passed it on to a local team. You know, I spoke to the the experiencer and said, "Look, this is a situation," and as time they were happy for me to pass on to somebody else. But my mind was focused on them, not about, "Oh, this is for me." You know what I mean? As long as they got the help they wanted, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? It's not about I get more. You know what I mean? It's for me. It's all about helping people, and it's like I was saying before we came on. It's the same with the paranormal team. You know, we don't do public events, and we just do team only or private because we just want to help people. You know, and that's the top and bottom of it.
Yeah. I sort of this woman had an issue with a demon on a Facebook group, and a lot of people write stuff on Facebook, but I was actually drawn and it seemed real. So I put her in touch with a friend of mine, and he has helped her, and she did have a real issue. And you're not going public on it, and you don't know what happens and how people try and help people in the background.
That's it. You know, it's again, it's I've known people go in to help people and they've just made things worse.
Yeah.
I have this thing. As you know, I do believe in the paranormal. I have friends who are demonologists. I do believe in demonic possession. I do believe in all that.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes people go to that avenue too quickly.
Yes,
If that makes sense.
definitely.
And I've seen that happen many times where something will happen, it'll go, oh, it's demonic, and then that family's more frightened than the way
That's
before they
right.
turned up. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like I said, I've done this for years and years and years, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but me personally, I've never come across anything that's demonic. Never, not
No.
once. You know what I mean? But
I
that,
might have a picture of something demonic, but
yeah,
only because I was with a demonologist
yeah.
at the time.
And like I said, that doesn't mean I don't.
But
I do believe. I really do. But like I say, I just think people go down that route too early, and I've known people
definitely.
who are absolutely, they've left them more scared than anything because it's a case of, well, okay, it's demonic. What you're going to do? Well, nothing I can
Yeah,
do.
go to a priest,
Yeah,
holy
and like,
water,
you know what I mean. And the more,
burn it.
yeah, the more frightened than they were before they started. Um, but yeah, but yeah, for me, it that side again is real. As much as I do believe in paranormal, people might think it's strange, but as much as I do believe in the paranormal, I am a religious person as well. So I
Yeah,
do believe in demonic and things like that. Absolutely.
yeah, that's right. And you can do religion, you can do paranormal, you can do. People don't have to fit into like brackets, do they?
No, it happens
You've
all
got an
the time.
open mind, haven't you? And
Yeah,
you can
I get asked the
have
question
your
all
own
the time.
beliefs.
How can I believe in God but then believe in aliens? Well, why? Why not? Why can't I?
Why not?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
As far as I know, God could have created the aliens as well. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
and that is the thing. We don't know. We
we
don't
don't.
know, and that's what's all intriguing about it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we don't know.
No, we don't. And it's, and I know all these words get pushed around. You know what I mean? I've had it myself in news articles, in local press. Label me as expert, and there's no such thing as an expert. You know what I mean? It
No.
isn't. It's we're all learning. Like I said, I've been doing this for years, and I'll still pick up new things. I'll still learn off people. You know what I mean? It's um,
Yeah, that's it. We've got Luke Allerton then. He said Area 51 is a big cover up. It could be a bit like Stargate, where they're travelling back and forth through a wormhole trading. Bit far fetched, but they wouldn't tell if it was. Since Roswell, look at what tech has boomed.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's like what I was saying earlier. It's that's one of the theories of is that's what's happening with trading, or more so the US. But I think there'll be a lot of governments involved. But yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. It's like I said before. If they are coming here, which I do believe, they'll be far advanced in technology than we are. So
that's
absolutely,
right.
absolutely. And you talk about the universe. It's we
You can't even
we know a
grasp
little
it.
bit about it. I mean, we don't know what's up there, and
Yeah, that's right. You can't. It's
no,
just mad, isn't it?
yeah.
So Von said, I think it happened before. Wouldn't surprise me if they're walking among us. You really don't know. They
You
could
don't,
be.
and it's sort of you look at the bigger picture and you go into deep end years and years and years ago, with the Egyptians and the pyramids and things like that.
Yes.
As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, but there's no technology. Now, technology's improved vastly over the years,
Yeah.
but there's still no technology that can replicate the pyramids. There's no tools we have that can replicate the
No.
pyramids as they are now. So, not taking anything away from them, but do people honestly want us to believe that man, with very limited equipment, build these pyramids?
That's
I
right.
just, I just don't, I just don't find it possible.
And
You know,
don't
I'm not,
some of the markings look like spaceships?
exactly. There's markings of spaceships in there and an alien face. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, exactly.
um, I don't want to take the
We
glory away
just
from
don't
them because
know.
they are fascinating things. But for me, I just find it impossible that man back then could build these things. And some of the
Yeah,
pictures they show you where they're dragging them with rope, but I just find it, I just don't find it plausible.
yeah.
But yeah, like I
It,
say, we're just hearing the big cases, Venison Forest, things like Skinwalker Ranch and Roswell, things like that. but these things have been going on for thousands of years.
Yeah, they're the only ones which have, make the
Yeah.
headlines, because it's in a world then where things did sort of make the news. Whereas Egypt, how did the word spread?
Yeah.
So, like Wayne also says, like even the Pope discussed it for 2 weeks with his cardinals about, and also Wayne, Mark Manley himself and 3 others witnessed 3 UAPs at once. Got pictures of 2 black triangles over the area. I think that is at the forest, Rendlesham Forest.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see them.
Yeah, so you're friends with Glen, aren't you, Wayne? So if you just either send them to Wayne or
yeah. But like I say again, Rendlesham Forest, it's a fascinating case.
It is.
And it's just one of them things where, again, the detail of it, of not just seeing things in the sky, it landed, they touched it. You know what I mean? I have a couple of them on on social media, on my friends list, Jim Pedersen and people like that who are involved. It was a lighthouse. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. A lighthouse. That's what a skeptic. I can't remember his name now. Says that he believed that it was, what he thought it was lights from the lighthouse. I'm like, seriously, come on, you know what I mean? These guys touched this, and you're saying it's lights. But Kel Charles Holt's, his statement, it's fascinating to read. Again, he doesn't exactly come out and say yes, it's something from outer space, but he said it's something he's never come across before. He doesn't know what it is.
That's saying something, isn't it?
And there's a lot of things out there, like logical explanations. There was a sort of training experiments going on with regards to the military, but I'm pretty sure they would have been in on it if then, if there's a training exercise going on. Would they be informed? Or even after, you know what I mean? Oh, by the way, it was just the training you know what I mean? So it's fascinating.
I've got a question from Anne Irish Bell then. Do you think that being skeptical is more out of fear of the unknown and disbelief?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe that. Like I said, I'm a believer, but I'm skeptical in the evidence I get.
I'm skeptical because you get people who are believers who think everything is paranormal from my perspective. But I'm skeptical in the way that I question things, and you question things
I'm
as well.
You know what I mean? I'm skeptical on the evidence I get put in front of me, because then I need to find out what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not skeptical of the things that I do believe in them. I do.
That's right. Yeah.
I believe in UFOs.
At the same
time. But regards to people who I probably wouldn't put them down as skeptical. I'll just put them down as non-believers.
That's it.
I think a lot of explanation could be the fact that it's especially men, because men are the brawn, they're the one who looks after the family. They need to take care of the family, and if there's something going on, especially on the demonic side of it, it's a case of, well, what can I do to keep my family safe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so, I think a lot of it is the fear factor. It's these things are real.
So I've got a couple of similar comments here then. So Wayne, there's more than Area 51 now. They have an installation in Australia. But also Anne lived in Vegas, and there's strange things happening there as well.
Absolutely. I've still seen things myself, evidence-wise, of things happening over Nevada desert and around Area 51. But regards to housing, obviously going back to Roswell, apparently they housed alien life forms. I don't think that'll be happening now, because the tourists to get.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I just think it wouldn't be logical to have these things there.
No, not now. No. They're not going to have something like that happening where everyone knows about it.
No,
even if, without them getting access, obviously.
Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on the Bob Lazar interview?
Very interesting. I do believe in Bob Lazar. You know, I think it was Bob Lazar, the interview I watched when he first came out, regards to Area 51. I'm pretty sure it was him. Where obviously it was before, this is how I explain it, type of thing.
Yeah.
Before Men in Black was
Oh yeah.
like the
Okay.
film Men in Black.
Yeah.
He said that's what it was like at Area 51. Just people and aliens walking around and working on crafts and things. I'm sure it was Bob Lazar who said that because he's had many interviews in the, lately. But yeah, I like Bob. I think he's credible of what he's come out with. But again,
so certainly a person to listen to then.
Yeah,
and check out what he said.
Absolutely. But it's I just think sometimes, especially with skeptics and people who don't believe, when they come up with so much detail, I think on their side of it, it's too much. You know what I mean?
That's right.
I don't do this to prove people wrong. I do it for my own curiosity of what I'm trying to find and to help people. Because I just think to prove people wrong, you'll never do it. Because like I say, you give them all this information of what you're saying, it's like, oh yeah, too far-fetched. So then you give them a little bit of information, well, it could be anything. You know what I mean? You'll never change someone's mind. You know what I mean?
Gosh, no.
Yeah, so
well, I was a skeptic, and I like lived in this pub, and things happened, and I merrily went along my way, and I thought, yeah, okay, whatever, you know. And then something happened to me, and it sort of changed my perspective of paranormal.
Absolutely.
And it's the reason I do it every weekend if I can.
Yeah.
And it's odd, you know, why do I want to go and hang around dark, cold buildings? I don't know. Should be in a pub, but
yeah,
just got me fascinated. Mad, isn't it? What loot does it's called CE5.
Sorry, what was that?
Luke, CE5. So they do mass meditation.
What about CE5?
A lot of people meet up and just do a mass meditation.
Right.
And see if they can communicate.
Okay, yeah.
That's my version. Sorry, Luke, if I get it wrong. It just really looks intriguing. I definitely want to go. I will go. When I'm not busy, I will go. But yeah. So they have a group meeting every few weeks near me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try that one out.
Because C5, I think he's talking about Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Is that what he's talking about? I think.
No, there's actually a group who meet up.
Oh, right. Well,
they actually meet up.
I know a lot of experiences who apparently, I don't like saying apparently, but you know, who claim to communicate with I don't know about spirits, but obviously with aliens and stuff like that. And like I say, they call them experiences. I have a few of them. As far as I'm aware, they haven't trained to do it. You know, I think if you want to call it being chosen, I think it's a case of their sort of channel to them. I think it's more the alien beings sort of communicated to them, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's not like the human sort of saying, right, I'm going to try and communicate. It's sort of like they've chosen them type of thing for whatever reason.
Because it's come on came up on my Facebook, and I did want to go a specific weekend, but I couldn't make it. But I do want to go, and I do want to sort of see, really, because it does intrigue me, and they have had things happen, and yeah, it's there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Just so, what are your thoughts on the Black Knight satellite?
If I'm honest with you, I just put it down as debris.
Right. Okay.
It's sort of, I know it's been around, but it doesn't sort of move in sort of any sort of how a craft would. You know, the shape of it and everything. That's what I would put it down to, unfortunately. Just debris from whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a bit difficult from.
Yeah. So Sam, who's got a show on Friday, talking to Are You Haunted? Every day's a school day. Always something you can come across that you haven't experienced.
Absolutely.
That's you've got it in one, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same.
Yeah.
It's like I said earlier with investigators. You know what I mean? It's so much that you learn yourself. You come across yourself. You know, you might think you know everything, and then someone else comes up and it's like, oh, you know. But that's why we do what we do. You know, it's
that's right. So Bob Lazar came up with so much information, I think, because he's working on the craft.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And then Charles agrees and believes in Bob.
Absolutely, yeah. Like that's some of the things he was saying, and you know, it's how I look at it. You know, why it couldn't. It's not for money, because you know what I mean. The job he had, you know, the profession he had, he's making plenty of money. So, what makes someone come out if it is lies? What makes someone come out and say these type of things? You know what I mean? It's like you need to question that of why would they? And for me, it's only to tell the truth and let the people know of what's going on. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You know what I mean? He hasn't done it for any other reason.
Yeah, that's it. When I went to Skegness, I was part of a parafest with Wayne, and a few saw a light above Church Farm, Skegness, which just couldn't explain. It wasn't a plane or anything. And I think I was like outside when like people sort of mentioned it. I didn't see it personally, but yeah, quite a few like questioned it. Mark Manley was there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But it's and that's what I'm saying. It's sort of it comes with certain people who experience these objects. It all comes in with the detail as well of what people need to look at as well. It's like one case I was working on. It was up in the northeast, Northumberland way. Now, this woman witnessed 3 objects. It was in broad daylight. Now, she says 2 of them were Apache helicopters, military Apache helicopters. So she knew exactly what they were.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a helicopter, it was a Apache helicopter.
But yeah, they are obvious, yeah.
Yeah. So the third one, she couldn't identify. Now, this is what I found fascinating. As obviously part of the investigation, obviously the military's involved at some point. So it depends who you get as well. Some are, you know, are very open, some are not. But I got in touch with the Ministry of Defence. Now, what I found fascinating was the fact that they acknowledge and, you know, were honest with me and says, yes, there was 3 objects out at that time, at that date. They were all Apache helicopters.
Yeah.
But can't tell me why they were there. Now, for me, she knew. He sort of, you know, backed their story up saying there was Apache helicopters there. But she said there were only 2. But he said they were all of them with Apache helicopter. All 3 of them were.
That's handy, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought, hang on, there's something right here. But obviously, he couldn't tell me what they were there for. So I thought, you know, and I just found that so fascinating. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I got to the stage of the investigation where I couldn't take it any further. I couldn't get no solid proof. But in my mind, I believe 100% of what she witnessed wasn't an Apache helicopter.
Well, she definitely saw 3 of something.
Yeah.
And 2 she 100% confirms and spot the difference, really. You know, there's something what looked different from the helicopters. Yeah.
And a lot of people might say, well, it doesn't mean it's something from another. It doesn't. You mean it doesn't mean that, but all it means is whatever that other object was, he wasn't being honest.
No, that's it, because he would have said 2 Apaches and something else.
Yeah.
If he knew what helicopter it was, not 3 Apaches.
You know, people might be saying, oh, you know, it might be another craft that they designed and they want to keep secret at the time being, well, why fly in daylight?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean?
Just put a flag on it. Go, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here.
But
Secret.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
found it.
So Luke's commented then. So it's a group who meet up. It's Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. Basically, you practice meditation and consciousness, sending your location into the universe. With everything in the universe being connected, then hopefully ETs can pick up on the consciousness.
Yeah,
And
I thought
yeah,
it
they
was
meet up and they've had strange lights appear.
Yeah, I thought it was Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. Yeah, yeah, it's it's like that. It's these categories. It's sort of I know of the fifth one, but I'm not that really.
Yeah,
I'm not really sort of had much deal with that. Obviously,
I'm going to go. I'm going to go to one, and if Von wants to join me as well, yeah, because it's actually located between me and Von. So where they meet.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, definitely up for sort of trying it out. It's interesting. Yeah, because last time I went to the woods with Luke, it was a strange night.
Yeah.
I went for some paranormal, but I don't know what was going off in that car park. Can imagine. So Carl, our future at some time will be out amongst the stars. The way technology is progressing, have we got this technology now, and is it all under wrap? So you just don't know, do you?
No, it very well could be. We haven't got a I do think a lot of it. I think it's a plausible explanation for all what's going on. Regards to technology, I really do. It's fair to say because things just advance really quick. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's it. I want to thank you anyway. So,
No
do
problem.
you want to tell everybody about your group then?
Yeah, like I said,
groups?
I've been an investigator now for over 20 plus years. But this, I think, it was earlier this year. I've actually sort of gone that little step further, and I'm just getting the website sorted out at the moment. But I have obviously on social media, but obviously formed a group, BUFON, British UFO Network. And
Yeah.
obviously the idea of that is just to get as much reporting as possible, and sort of networking with obviously I like yourself, and I'm not part, but I know groups of all over the globe, especially in the US. So obviously networking with them and sort of all working together, and so yeah, you can.
It's brilliant though, isn't it?
Fun, yeah.
It's great that you sort of meet people in this field, and there are decent people, and there are people who aren't out for it for like stars, egos, and everything.
Yeah, that's it. It's I just don't. I don't. I just don't get all that. You know what I mean? And the only thing I can think of really without. I don't like judging people, but is it down to money? You know what I mean? It's like I don't. Regards if it's either ufology or the paranormal side with investigations, I don't charge a single penny. Everything's free. You know what I mean? I just do it because I find it interesting and I just want to help people. You know what I mean? My employment over the years is generally I've been in employment where it's all about helping people. You know what I mean? I work with the NHS at the moment, so it's all that's exactly what I mean. I want to do. So it's a case of I don't put money to it because one, it's not right, and two, so that means I'm just going to help people who can afford it. You know what I mean? It's the service to anybody. You know what I mean? The services to anybody in any walks of life. You know what I mean? If that's what they're experiencing, then yeah, I want to help in any way possible.
Yeah, Glen is on Facebook. What I'll do is put the links in the top of the show. So if you click on the show in a bit, the links will be there of the ufology group and the paranormal group. So you'll be able to find them, Charles. Okay. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank you all for the questions. Carl Hudson, cheers for the story. It's brilliant. And
Absolutely.
glad Glen could actually, you know, throw more light on it, basically, because it is like a more common experience, isn't it, really? Von really enjoyed it. Thanks, Von. Thank you, everybody.
Yes,
And
thank you very much.
thanks for spending an hour chatting to me, Glen.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. Look after yourself anyway.
Excellent.
Oh, brilliant, Wayne. That's great. Can you send it over to me as well? Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Bye now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.